This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Hi, and welcome to Covered in Pet Hair, a boozy web show for pet lovers on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Isabel Alvarez-Arata, and today I have the pleasure of having a drink with a dear friend, a Southern gentleman, and a very gifted animal communicator. I'll tell you all about him and introduce you as soon as we come back from these messages from our sponsors.
So now I've got this pack of 4 Shar-Pei rescue dogs for, oh my goodness, probably 5-6 years. They get a regular diet of Dinovite with every meal.
DINOVITE.com.
People remark on what beautiful coats they've got. I tell them, you don't need to wait until a problem presents itself. It's far better to keep the dog happy and healthy at all times.
You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
I get my Dinovite from DINOVITE.com.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back to Covered in Pet Hair on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Isabel Alvarez-Arata, and today I have the pleasure of introducing you to an internationally recognized animal behaviorist, an animal communicator, a best-selling author, a consultant, a pet expert, a contributor to various online and print publications, a speaker, a radio host, a cat person and dog person, husband to Kim, dog-potted Dusty and Kramer, butler to feral kitties Kiki and Mystic, a world traveler, a sports fan, and a music aficionado, Tim Link.
Hey.
Welcome, Tim.
Well, thank you. That's why I need such a large business card to put all that on there. Each side.
You should. Absolutely. My guests won't know it, but every time you hear this word,
the secret word is Dusty.
During this show, please take a drink, but driving will happen tomorrow. You can't drink and drive on this show or on any. And if you're driving right now listening to Pet Life Radio, don't participate in our drinking game. Okay? All right. So, Tim, thank you for being on my first show.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm so excited. Good to see you. And I'm just wonderful. I'm so glad you have a new show. I'm excited to be the first one up.
Are you excited to play our first game?
I'm very good at games, especially if this is competitive.
No, it's just, it's not really competitive, I guess. Not really. It's not a drinking game either. So you don't have to take a shot every time that you answer a question.
Okay.
You can if you want to. No judgment here, but it's not a drinking game.
Got it. Okay. I won't be as good then, but I'll keep up with you.
So what are you drinking today?
All right. Look what I got here. Isn't this pretty and fancy? Now you would say this is like cranberry juice and vodka, but it's not. It's called Ginger the Great Ape. That's what we got here today. So we've got a little ginger. You can use ginger ale or ginger beer. You know, ginger beer is very popular on the East Coast and up in the Pennsylvania areas. And you put some fresh grape juice in there, a little bit of vodka, a little Absolute or whatever your preference is, plenty of ice, and away you go. And it's good, it's healthy, and cheers.
Looks pretty heavy on the vodka there.
What? That's good.
Great minds think alike, because I'm having a woo-woo cocktail.
Woo-woo. Well, like a puppy dog, right? Or a woo-woo after you have 3 or 4 of them?
Probably both. But actually, the reason I'm having this drink, and it's vodka, peach schnapps, and cranberry, the reason I'm having this drink is because I feel like animal communication is sometimes referred to as woo-woo. So before I decided to take this on and do this show, I've been called woo-woo before. So I thought, let me just make sure that I'm defining woo-woo correctly in preparation for our interview. And the first thing that came up was the woo-woo cocktail. And I was like, done, it's the perfect thing. Because woo-woo can mean kind of mystical and out there. And I bet you, as an animal communicator, get told that, that's a little woo-woo for me. Does that happen?
Well, I've been doing this for over 16 years now. So I started very young, so it worked out well for me. But, when I first started this, and even communicators that have been doing this much longer than I have, it really was woo-woo. It's new. It's stepping outside the box. It's really thinking, can I do this? Is this strange or is this weird? Now, over the years, there's more and more communicators out there worldwide. There's more and more people familiar with it. Books have come out, interviews. I've done well over 400 radio interviews and done probably about close to 100 television interviews. So I've been out there a little bit. So I've seen it sort of change, being really strange and mystical and woo-woo to actually being, hey, I kind of understand this. I get this. I don't know exactly how it works, but if it works, I'm happy. And that's what I try to bring to the table.
Well, I have a very, very, I guess, a larger threshold for what's woo-woo and what's not. Some people have a smaller threshold for that. So I want to gauge how woo-woo you are, Tim.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
In our game today, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play woo-woo would you or woo-woo would you not.
Got it. Woo-woo. Okay. That's a mouthful. I need another drink. Hold on. Here we go.
Take a sip. Take two.
All right. I'm ready.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a list of things that some people might consider woo-woo. So a little out there, a little mystical, a little unconventional. Sure. And you're going to tell me if you woo-woo would for your pets or if you woo-woo wouldn't for your pets.
Gotcha.
You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So first one, this was an easy one. I think I already know what your answer is going to be. Woo-woo would you or woo-woo would you not pet Reiki?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because I am a Reiki master. So I work with clients and their animals from around the world, everything from medical issues, healing. I'm not a veterinarian, but I can definitely give some guidance there. Energetically healing for emotional and physical challenges, but also just simple things like if I'm going away, if a client is going away on a vacation or going away on a trip and they need to leave their animal behind, the Reiki will help keep them calm, keep them stable. So definitely energy healing is fantastic. Reiki is my alley and I'm the master. So I definitely woo-woo would.
There you go. Very nice. So I obviously threw you a bone there because that one's very easy.
Thank you.
So the next one, woo-woo would you or woo-woo would you not acupuncture for your pets?
Well, I tell you what, I'm definitely for it, but you have to make sure that your pet's for it. I have a wonderful veterinarian and a wonderful acupuncturist. She went to school and training, all this great stuff. And she's done wonders for the animals, clearing up the channels, opening up the energy flow, healing, these type of things. But I tried it on my little 10-pound Princess Schnauzer, Dusty. And let's just say my veterinarian almost has one less finger. Yeah, it did not go well. We took the pins out and we left. It was not her jam. But I think it's not her cup of tea. But I do think, any type of energy healing, hands-on, hands-off modalities are fantastic for animals.
Wonderful. Okay, next. Woo-woo would you or woo-woo would you not walk your pet in a stroller?
Woo-woo, yes. Woo-woo would I? Yes, I would. And I actually did that. I have some wonderful photos somewhere on my website and out and about. But I had a different Schnauzer by the name of Buzz. And as he got a little bit older, he developed cataracts in his eyes, had a hard time seeing, had some other issues. And I remember a wonderful, wonderful beach trip that we took down to Destin, Florida. And it was me and my wife, Kim, and Buzz. And he was in his little stroller, cruising down the boardwalk. Everything was great. He loved a stroller. He didn't care for the beach, but he loved the stroller. So yes, woo-woo would I? Yes, I would do that.
Okay, so I'd be interested to hear this next one. Okay, so woo-woo would you or woo-woo would you not baby wear your pets?
Baby wear? Like put
how like moms wear like the kids wrapped around them?
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's say this way. If it helped your animal and they were, say, had some medical issues, maybe they're getting older, they can't move around as much, and you need something secure to put them in to carry them around, I would say, yeah, go for it. But make it cooler, like a little backpack, put matching sunglasses on, do something that is a little bit more hip. I don't think I want one where they're thinking, is he nursing that Schnauzer? I don't know. No.
That'd be a little extra, a little too woo-woo for you.
A little too woo. Let's go half. Let's go woo. It's just woo for me, not a woo-woo. It's a woo.
Okay. All right. Well, I've seen it happen more so in like the Hollywood circles where I've seen some young celebrities wearing their pets in like a wrap. And yeah. I'll be honest, I baby wear my children all the time. I think I won't be wearing my pets anytime soon, considering they're like 50 pounds. Well, 2 out of 3 of them are 50 plus pounds.
Yeah. Well, that's where the backpack comes in handy. Good cardio. Good.
And the goggles. And the
goggles.
goggles.
Got the goggles.
All right. So next one. Woo woo or would you? Woo woo would you or woo woo would you not? Homeopathy for your pets.
Yeah, definitely so. I'm a big fan of flower essences, pet essences, for sure. We have one of our dogs who is terrified of loud noises, thunderstorms, things of this sort. It's not uncommon at all. And for him, it's very easy. Not only do we do a little scented t-shirt with my scent on it and drape it over him, sort of like a Darth Vader look, but we take some flower essence, calming solution. You put a dab on your finger, you tap your finger, you rub it on the inner tips of the ears, not in the canals, inner tips of the ear. And within about 5-10 minutes, it calms him down. Doesn't knock him out. It just sort of chills him out a little bit. So yeah, definitely so. I'm big into homeopathy. My philosophy is that if you have a medical issue, if it's something that's serious and needs to be taken care of, then go a traditional route and get it taken care of. But if it's long-term maintenance, things we need to do to sustain our animals, then definitely look for a more holistic approach.
Awesome. Okay. So woo woo would you or woo woo would you not cook for your pets?
I cook for my pets every day. As a matter of fact, as soon as we get done, it's off to the kitchen for Timbo here. Absolutely. Yeah. I tell you, it really depends on what you're cooking and what you're doing. So we went to a nutritionist because both my dogs, one in particular, had some issues with seizures. And we did a allergy panel test and found out there were certain ingredients that she was definitely allergic to that was actually triggering the seizures. So for years now, I've been using a combination. There's a product called Balance IT that I use, Balance It. They're not a sponsor. If they want to be, contact me.
They should be.
They should be. But it's a nice powder with all the blends of minerals and the vitamins and everything in there. You mix that with a lean protein, mix that with some sort of a bright, like sweet potatoes is what I use. Use a green pepper, mix it all together, and voila, you're ready to go. And I've been doing that for years. Works out fantastic. Haven't had any seizures, any health issues for numerous years.
That's awesome. Okay, don't tell my pets that you're cooking for your pets because they're going to start, holding me to the fire here.
I thought you did do that maybe at one point, but
I did until I became a mom of 2. We did it all through my husband deployed. I cooked for them still. And then when I got pregnant with my second, I was like, I can't do this anymore. And my husband travels so much for work that it's just not sustainable. But I think it's the best way to feed your pets. If you can do it, absolutely. I agree with you. I would if I had the time.
There you go.
All right. So I know that you're happily married and I've never met Kim, but I feel like I know her. But let's say that a friend of yours asked you for advice on this topic. Woo-woo would you or woo-woo would you not recommend a dating app for pet people?
Oh my gosh. A dating app for me would be like what they have. What are those little mathematical counting beads that they used to have?
The abacus.
Yeah, that's how old I am. Pre-calculator age. So when I go with an app, oh, well, you are definitely asking the wrong person.
The wrong person.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't care.
Right. But plus, look, come on, Isabel, look at me. Come on.
I mean, but I imagine I've never been on a dating app for pets. I was online dating years ago, but I've never been on a dating app for pets. Actually, when I was online, there weren't even apps. It was like online. You went to your computer and you right. I'm not that much younger, I guess.
Well,
I think that most people would have pictures of their pets there. You wouldn't have to put your picture.
Right. Now, a pet app for dating, I still don't see that because your view of your pets, you're so close to your pets, just like I am, that it's very easy to skip over things. It's very easy not to see. You can't connect with your own furry children as well as maybe someone else has. So there's things you're missing. So I can't count the number of clients I've had that just wanted to check in, see how their pets were doing, see what they're going. And they would ask simple questions like, what's their favorite toy? And you would, connect with the animal, get the information back, and then we'll say it's a rope toy, a red rope toy. And they're like, no, that's not right. It's a bone. Well, come to find out, then they pull the red rope toy that they forgot they had. Next thing you know, their dog won't give it up. That's the one they really love. They've been giving them this bone, thinking that that's the one they want. So if you have an app that says, oh, your Pomeranian would be perfect for my Shih Tzu, maybe yes, maybe no. But let's meet them at a secure location on leash. See if they get along, then maybe they can go out on a date.
Maybe on a date. We're doing pet dating here, people. That's what we're doing now.
That's right.
Okay. So woo-woo would you or woo-woo would you not? I have 3 more. Designer pet clothing.
No. So I communicate with animals. That's what I do. That's my jam. I do a lot of things, but that's one of the things I do. And the animals will put up with it. They do. They want to do anything they can to make their human companions happy. So if you have a lovely little outfit that you want to put on your pet, most of the time they'll cooperate at least for a little bit. But if they had their druthers, they would rather be naked and free and running around, naked and running around. That's what they prefer, all natural. So put it on them. Take your little picture, especially if you dress just like them, and then take it off and let them have their fun.
If you dress just like them, make sure that is your profile on your dating app, please, because if you're taking pictures with your pet in the same outfit, everybody needs to see that.
Yeah, I had a client, actually, real quick. I had a client like that who won there was a contest every year, and she won it for like 10 years straight. And her social media was just full of these, nothing else, just these pictures of her and her little dog. And, the first one was really cool. The 10th one, it's like, maybe there's something you should do in your spare time.
Get a hobby.
Hobby.
Yeah, that reminds me of one of my favorite Bravo Housewives gif. That's like one of the housewives yelling at another one, get a hobby. So yeah, that sounds like that would be. Okay, so you said naked, so this takes me right into my next one. Woo-woo would you or woo-woo would you not? And I promise this is a product that exists. I'm not making it up. Prosthetic testicular implants for neutered pets.
Okay, well, that's an interesting one. So let me put it to you this way. Humans have more problem with that than dogs. That's
okay. You're the animal communicator. You would know, right? You have the in.
Once it's done, and they don't care. And it's been proven for years. There's been numerous studies out that basically says if you spay and neuter your animals, they'll live longer lives, healthier lives, and they won't care that don't have their package fully intact. We'll put it that way. So unless you can get some that maybe you can put on temporarily during the holidays, and they're like little bells.
Jingle bells. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Right. Where have we come? Where have we gone today? Yeah. Let's reel this back in. Jingle bells. Okay. I love it. That is, I'm glad you're a good sport, because I was like, is he going to be like horrified by me asking about prosthetic testicular implants? Thank you for being a good sport. So the last one, woo-woo would you or woo-woo would you not? Manifest your perfect pet.
Oh, manifestation. We know something about that, don't we?
We do.
I believe fully in manifestation. I believe what you put out there is what you get back. And if you put it out there you have to be positive. I can't, you can't say, I want $1 million. Well, okay, that's not positive energy. You got to put out and then get back. That's the key. So if you want $1 million, maybe perhaps you want to put $1 million or more out there to get $1 million back. But manifesting is definitely it. If you visualize what you're wanting or what you want your pet to do, or you want the right perfect animal to come to you, they'll find you. And I've written about that numerous times, and the fact that we don't need to go out and find our animals, our perfect furry, feathered, finned, scaled friends. They will come to us. They'll appear at our doorsteps. A friend will have to move, and they'll need a good place for their pets. One of the best stories ever is I had a client who lost her dog. Dog made a transition. She swore she would never get a dog again, never, ever. And for about a solid year, she avoided anything to do with animals. So any stores that had animal products, any pets, sanctuaries, anything at all. And she had to go to the grocery store one day. Thought, okay, that's going to be pretty safe. She goes to walk in, and it's the first and only time this grocery store allowed a local rescue to have a rescue event outside of their facility. And needless to say, she has a brand new puppy.
That was it. Oh, no.
That was it.
Well, oh, yay. But oh, no.
Oh, yay. Yeah. But yes. Yeah. So they're going to find you. They're going to find you. You put out there what you want at the right and perfect time. Don't put any expectations, because you may be thinking that, wow, I want this great golden retriever, or I want this Siamese cat. And you get something that is totally different. But it'll be the right match. It'll be the right and perfect one to come your way.
I agree. And the reason Tim says that I know something about manifestation is because I manifested my husband.
That's right. So, and it worked. He's doing pretty good.
He is the best thing in the world, especially right now, taking care of the two kids so I can chat with you and have a drink with you.
There you go. I love it.
All right, awesome. So I'm going to be back with Tim as soon as we come back from these messages, and I am going to kind of switch things around from this game. So we'll see you right back.
Molly, here's your dinner. Zeus, that's not your food.
Don't let that happen to your precious cat. Elevate your cat's eating experience with the Cat Tree Tray. The Cat Tree Tray keeps your cat's food off the floor and conveniently located on the cat tree. It's the perfect way to eat. It's a beautiful wrought iron tray that easily attaches to your cat tree and keeps dogs and other critters out of your cat's dish. A must for multi-pet households. There's a 6-inch tray for large bowls and a 4-inch tray for smaller bowls. Purchase your Cat Tree Tray today. Go right now to cattreetray.com. That's cattreetray.com. CATTREETRAY.com.
We wear fur, and we're damn proud of it.
What?
And our 4 legs.
And our tail. And we go to the bathroom outside.
Well, we may not be too proud of that. Sniff around, then mark your spot right here. Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
Let's talk pets
on Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back to Covered in Pet Hair. I'm your host, Isabel Alvarez-Arada, and I am chatting and having a drink, cranberry and vodka-based drink, with Tim Link, a wonderful friend, Southern gentleman, and Animal Communication, best-selling author, all the things. If you go back in the show, you'll hear his entire resume very quickly as I introduced him. And he is the writer, author of 2 books, one of which I have right here, Wagging Tails. And I want to dig in a little bit deeper on Tim Link's experience with animal communication. And I think a lot of people, Tim, don't know what animal communication actually means. Would you give us a really quick definition?
Yeah, well, animal communication is basically having a one-on-one conversation with your animals. And I'm talking about a verbal as well as a visual conversation. So we know through our animal training, for instance, we know that animals understand words like sit, stay, leave it, these type of things that we're taught when we're doing training techniques. So we know they understand the words that we're saying. More importantly, they catch on to the visualization. And I'm talking about a little bit deeper level than just visually looking at your animal and saying, his ears are pulled back, so he must be upset or worried, or, her tail's not wagging, so there must be something going on. I'm talking about making a deeper connection with them and having a verbal and visual conversation. So the best way I can describe it is when you talk to your animal out loud, we know they understand those words that you're saying, but they're understanding multiple words. So if you're talking about going to the beach, they not only understand that you're going to the beach, but they think it's right now. So you have to be very careful about how you go about talking to them. So you talk to them verbally, and then visually, you want to give a clear picture of what you're wanting to share with them, how you're wanting to communicate that. Now, that sort of comes naturally in the fact that when I talk about going to the beach and I'm going to get my pink umbrella and I'm going to have my pink chair and I got my favorite red cooler with the white top on it. Well, did you hear what I just said? Yes. And did you visualize that in some fashion? Yes. And that's what the animals tune into. So the clearer you are with that visualization of what you're wanting from them, what you're wanting to share with them, to them, and what you're wanting to receive back, the better off. So when you're talking to them clearly and explaining what it is you want, what they need to do, and why is this going to be a good thing for them, you visualize what you're wanting that whole process to be in a very strong and clear visualization. And then the biggest part of that is trusting what you receive back. What your instincts are telling you, what your heart connection, what your gut is telling you, the things you receive back from there, whether it's a picture, a word, a feeling, an emotion, a smell, whatever it is you're receiving, trust that. And that's the hardest thing. The trust what we receive back from them is the hardest thing for humans to get around, because we don't trust what we receive. We doubt, we worry, we like, oh, is that really what he's trying to tell me? And actually, that is what your animal's trying to tell you.
Well, what's interesting, do you remember how we met, Tim?
Let's see. Yes, I do. Yes. A client, right? Is that the first time? Yeah.
I was a client of yours. One of your clients, you helped find her cat, Simon, Beth, my former business partner and very good friend. Yes. You helped find her cat. And I had to make a very important pet-related decision. And Beth recommended that I contact you.
Yes.
And talking about trusting. So I call you And you can describe a little bit of, if you don't mind, I'll do it, or you want to, how I sent you a picture, which is what you asked for. I asked each of my pets, Titan and Socks at the time. I only had the 2. And I called you and you said, okay, it looks like Titan wants to come through. And is he like waiting on a walk? You taking him somewhere? And I was like bright-eyed and in shock. And I said, why? And you said, because he's saying, I want to go. I want to go. And the reason I was calling you is because I had to decide whether or not to leave my dogs with my ex, whom I shared custody of the dogs with, in Northern Virginia, or take them with me to Louisiana. And when you said, Titan is saying, I want to go, I knew immediately what he was talking about. And Beth was sitting next to me and we both cried instantly because it was like that aha moment. And maybe somebody might think that that was woo woo, but that Titan is my dog and Titan is my soul. And I wanted to make the best decision for him where he was going to be happiest, and getting that without you knowing why I was calling you, without you having any idea what that meant. You're saying he says he wants to go was like the best eureka moment of my life. So yeah, for sure. You have to have an open heart, but sometimes it's like hard to deny what you're hearing, right?
Well, and that's it, and I'm not here I don't want a lot of information. I basically just need a photo of the animal and the name of the animal, something I can make a connection with. And as I said, I work with clients from around the world, and some things it's a life and death situation. Sometimes it's things going on in the family environment. Sometimes it's just, am I doing the right things for my animals? And the information, I make a connection with animals and I receive this information back that I was telling you about, where it's feelings, colors, emotions, whatever it may be. So you're providing me the questions. I'm working as a conduit between you and your animals to get information back. And then between you as the human companion and myself, we try to determine, what does that mean? Peel back that onion to see what makes sense. And it's amazing. Every day, like I said, I've been doing this for over 16 years now. Every day it's something new. Every day it's a person or a sanctuary or whatever it may be contact me from a place that I had no idea where they were contacting me from, or what their needs were, or what animal they even had. And so we try, I work as that conduit to try to get your information back to help you out. And, great things like this. And who knew all these years later, woo, we're still talking. We're loving each other.
Titan's downstairs on his couch, which I've not been able to replace in 13 years. He's 13 and a half next month, and he is happy as a clam. And he's an excellent communicator as it is. We don't need telepathy or Tim every day to tell us, because he is such a good communicator. He'll stand there and stare at me. But that was something so huge for me and for him and for our relationship that I will forever be grateful to you. I have a lot to be grateful to you for, Tim, but that is something that gave me life. So thank you. But I want to ask you, since you do ask questions to pets and you kind of get information from them that maybe their owners and pet parents don't get, what is the juiciest gossip you've gotten from a pet?
Oh, gosh. Well, it's funny. One of the stories that popped up says we were going back through our history together. I actually had a client contact me from, they were living in outside of London. And I thought it was just going to be a normal conversation with her 2 dogs. Well, little did I know it was her husband on the line with us, which was fine. And we talked and everything. And I said, wait a minute, before we go any further, I'm getting that there's turmoil going on. There's something happening where there's a major life decision going on in the family. Are you guys separating? Are you going through a divorce? And they said, yeah. And I said, is that why you really contacted me, to find out what to do with your animals? And they said, yeah. And so it was a similar type of thing. And I had then to say, logically, I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm going to probably get somebody mad or upset or crush their life. It's like, no, those dogs never really like you. So they go, so you have to be a delicate balance in that. But what it truthfully comes back to is whatever the animal shares back with me, I do it in a nice and polite way, but I've got to share that back. And then it's up to you. I can't tell you what to do with your animals or how to do it. So, that's one that I can remember back.
That's a good one.
Yeah. One, is this a PG rated show? I can't remember. Okay, good. So I have one. I won't go into artificial.
We haven't rated it yet. So based on this conversation, we'll rate it maybe.
Good. Well, I won't go into any stories about artificial doggy testiculars, but let's just say this.
For those that don't have the video on, there was a gesture. There was a gesture that took us back to the nudicles conversation.
The nudicles.
That's the product name.
That's right. So use your imagination.
Use your imagination.
So, but yeah, I had one a lady wanted to know about her cat, what was going on. He was acting kind of tense and upset and everything of this sort. And I kept getting back from the cat. Wait a minute, not now. I'm like, okay. And so I talked to her a little bit more, get another question. I can go back and ask the same question. How are you feeling? What's going on with you? Is there any physical or mental or emotional things? Wait a minute, not now. So this went on for about 5 minutes. And then finally her cat came into the room. Keep in mind, I was at a distance. I wasn't there in the room with them. But she said her cat came in the room, crawled up into her lap, curled up, and everything was just wonderful. And the cat said, now you may proceed. So I had to ask, where was your cat at? Oh, he was outside. Oh, is there other cats around? Yes, there's this female that he likes a lot. And I tell her, I shoo her off all the time, but she's always around. And so let's just say he was a little busy and didn't have time to talk to me. He needed about 5 minutes. And the rest is history. I won't go on anymore. Use your imaginations for those of you not using your videos here at home.
Oh my gosh, Tim, you're such a cock block.
Well, I tell you, it's
that's it. We just took it to R-rated. That's it.
Oh boy.
Family show no longer.
Put the kids asleep. Take them to bed.
I mean, we're drinking, right?
Well,
So
yes,
I
we
don't know.
are. Yeah, we are. Cheers.
21 and over to listen, please. All right. So how many pets do you think you've talked to in the past 16 years? I guess as a consultation.
From a consultation standpoint, it's in the thousands for sure. There are 3 areas I work in. One is communicating with animals that are having emotional or physical issues to help people out with those challenges, behavioral issues. I deal with grief counseling, so animals that are in their process of transitioning or have transitioned, how to know what is the right and perfect thing to do for them, what are their wishes, and then how do you heal from that on the back end. And then, as you mentioned, like with Beth, the lost animal work. I'm extremely well known. I've had a great deal of success with lost animals and sort of been the go-to guy for lost animals in a lot of cases. So every day I'll pop open my computer, emails will come in, and they'll be, let's just look at today, for instance, got a lost cat from Tel Aviv. That's interesting. So that came in today. We've got a lost dog someone was walking their dog. Car went off on the sidewalk, hit her, took out her kneecap. Dog broke the harness, took off running. And that was a small dog in Houston, Texas. We have a cat that got chased by a pit bull, and that was in California. And then I had another lost donkey, if you can believe that. So I had a lost donkey out in Arizona, where someone had it out on their ranch, and it broke the gate, and it's out wandering somewhere in Arizona.
Donkey is gone. That donkey, he's made a break for it, and he's not coming back.
He's gone. No, he's out there. He's out there doing a little escapades. But yeah, it's all kinds of different animals. And of course, usually every day, 2 or 3 Reiki consultations I'll do for animals that are having some challenges there as well. It's in the thousands, maybe tens of thousands by now. It's hard to track them all. I've got journals. If I went through all my journals, I'm sure I could do that.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And the Wagging Tails book, the one you held up there, that was the first book I wrote. It's quite, a little bit older book, but it's just short stories of animals I've worked with. And that's just sort of the first, dozen or so animals I worked with when I first started this back in, the gift opened up in 2004, and I started doing it full time in 2007 now, I think. So
that's amazing.
Yeah. It's been a nice ride.
Do your dogs know that you do this for a living?
They do. And I communicate with them all the time. I tell them right now, before I came in here, I said, Daddy's got a radio show to do, and I'll be done in 1 hour and 15 minutes, because I know we want to talk a little bit more too. So 1 hour to 15 minutes.
Good plan.
Yep. And I need you to lay down in your little beds and take a nap till I get done. And they're out there. So unless the UPS guy rings the doorbell, we're golden. We're golden for a while. But yeah, I'm always communicating to them, letting them know. And it's sort of become, for me, it's part of the normal routine. If I tell them I went to the grocery store earlier, told them I'd be back in about 1 hour, need them to lay down, take a nap. When we get back, we'll go out for out in the backyard for a little exercise, which we just did, so they would want to do it again. And sure enough, came in, they greeted me, helped me put away the groceries, and then they sit in front of me. It's like, okay, here's the door. This is the back door to the backyard. Let's go.
Yeah.
So we went on our little escapade. So it really becomes part of my normal routine. So I think they fully understand. But they're kids. They're fur kids. I'm not going to say that, I asked them and told them what I was going to do, what they needed to do, why it's going to be a good thing for them. But I can't guarantee you that they're not going to come screaming through the hallway at any second.
Right. All of this is just mere suggestions. This is what I need you to do is just a mere suggestion. And then they get to do whatever they want.
Well, if there's no benefit, and this very well being a mommy, you tell them what it is, what you need from them and why it's going to be a good thing. But if there's not a reward or a reason for this, or it's like, well, why? Why would I want to do this? So you either have to give them the reward. I'm not saying give them ice cream or whatever. If that works, that's great. But yeah, there you go. And a little bit for you. So it works out well. But there's got to be a reason for them to do that. There has to be an understanding why you would want them to do that, what they need to do, and what's the reward behind it. And it could be just simply some cuddle time, some pets, or it'll make me very happy.
Do you have any recommendations for people who travel with their pets now with the pandemic and all that? A lot of people are renting homes, as you tend to do when you travel with your pets. Do you have any tips on how to prepare pets before, during, and maybe toward, depending on how long the trip is for travel, acclimating them to new places, etc.?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the safe, cautious side of me says right now, don't do it.
Yes. True. Very true.
In May, my birthday is the first part of May 1st, if anybody wants to send gifts. But we always rent a beach house and go down to one of the beaches, dog-friendly beaches for the week. And of course, when COVID hit, it put a kibosh on that, and we haven't been able to go do it. It's a little bit different now. We know a lot more. We know how to hopefully stay safe and what to do. But in general, what you want to do is when you start talking about the trip, just when you first start talking about it, you want to talk to your animals about it. Because as I said before, whatever you're saying now, they think is happening now. So if you're talking about a beach trip in a week, they think it's now. So you got to let them know what this beach trip is, what they need to do when you're going to be doing this, and what they need to do in the interim. And then from there, you keep them involved in the whole process before you're going on the trip, during the trip, and while you're there. And I think from a safety issue, being very cautious about things, you just want to make sure you're doing whatever you're doing for yourself, do for your animals. Okay, that's the key. Now, right now we're wearing masks. So I'm not saying, okay, put a mask on your animal, but put them in safe situations. Make sure the area is clean. Make sure it's cleaned up. Make sure their area is clean. Make sure wherever they're going to be laying has been sanitized and has been cleaned up. So I don't think you can be too cautious about it while you're there. And then, of course, when you're out and about, the biggest thing is not only being aware of what is going on with you and your animals, it's who's around you. Because, we don't know, even when you're talking about non-COVID-19 related situations with the pandemic, 2 years ago, we were on the beach. It's a beach that's designed during summer hours, daytime hours, you walk your dog on leash. Afterwards, you can let them loose. We were doing that on a leash and other people weren't. And so this big old dog comes running right at us. And that one of my dogs loves every dog out there. The other one hates every dog out there.
Which one? Which one's the social butterfly?
So little Dusty, my little white toy schnauzer, she's the social butterfly. And she'll be really pissed at you, be frank, if you don't greet her. If you don't greet her, allow her to show how beautiful she is and all the wonderful things she is, she'll get upset. Now, my other guy, who's my chocolate schnauzer, my 20-pound chocolate schnauzer, Creamer, he's the opposite. He loves me, he loves mom, he loves a sissy, and maybe his pet sitter, but he wants her to go home soon as we get through the door. It's like, okay, your time's done. Get out of here. And that's about it. So we had Kim had Kramer on the leash. This other dog wasn't. We had no idea if this dog was friendly or not. He was much bigger than my wife Kim is, actually.
Scary.
Yeah. And so she yelled at the owner, and the owner was like, "He's friendly." And Kim said, "Mine's not." And she's like, "Oh." And so she comes running. And the dogs, I said, "Stop, stay, go." So these are training techniques. I was doing a little communication, but I was telling that. And he did. He stopped. He stayed for a minute, and then he turned and ran away. But by that time, the leash had wrapped around Kim's leg, tripped her up, falls on the shoulder, torn rotator cuff, and there you go. And the lady says, "Sorry." And I'm like, "Pay for the medical bills, So you got to be
a better
cognizant.
person than I. I would have had all sorts of flowery and descriptive words for that situation.
Yes. So you got to keep yourself, keep your animals protected, be aware of your surroundings. Don't let it worry you. Don't let you might go on a vacation if you're going to sit there and worry about things. You never let worry is negative energy, and we never manifest or put worry out there. We bring in the positive stuff.
Of course. Well, I guess to wrap things up, tell us about you and how anybody could reach you if they want to take on a consultation with you or learn more about your lost pet work, which is fascinating, or pick up one of your books or one of your meditations that I know you have online. Please, how do we get in touch with Tim Link?
Yeah, the best thing to do is go to wagging-tails.com. So it's WAGGING-TALES.com. Because it's the tails they tell, not the tails they wag. Or, of course, you can just go on your search engines and type Tim Lincoln, and I've been blessed, I think, with being all over the place on there. But yeah, the website has all kinds of wonderful videos, information. There's articles I've written. You want to know more about Reiki? It's on there. Lost animal work, what to do when your animal goes missing. All this wonderful information is on the website. And then, of course, you can book your own consultations if you're having challenges or behavior issues with your animals, grief counseling, or a missing animal. And right now we got a lot of promotions, a lot of BOGOs, things going on for the upcoming holidays. So for my books are on there, my audio meditations are on there, and the 4-part audio workshop. So if you ever want to learn how to communicate with your animals, that's on there as well. So go to wagging-tails, TALES.com, and you can find out everything you want to know.
Yes, you can. And I will give you my own visual, virtual, and radio recommendation. I have called you for many things. First one was what I talked about with Titan when I had to make that decision. Another one was when my first was born, Noah. Actually, before that, when we melded both our dogs, my husband had 2 and I had 2 when we moved to Louisiana, and we had 4 dogs, 2 of which didn't really love each other initially. We called you for that. So blending families, great reason to call Tim. Having new children, new additions to the family, whether it's a new pet or a new child coming into the family. Any big changes, you have always given us great advice. Chris still quotes you to this day, my husband. Remember, Tim said, and I do need to book you for a conversation about socks now that she went to the Rainbow Bridge, just to check in with her. I know that sounds kind of woo-woo for a lot of people, but I can't wait to hear about my hound girl at the Rainbow Bridge. So we have that for 2021.
There you go. Sounds good. Sounds good.
Thank you so much for being on my first show and for keeping it fun and light and not taking the conversation too seriously with me. That's the goal I had for this show and for our guests. I'd like to propose a toast to you, Tim, for all the things you've done for me and my family over the years. Cheers to you. To our executive producer, Mark Winter, for making this show possible. To our listeners, to everybody who loves a pet, here is to a life covered in pet hair, because there's no other way to live. Cheers. To learn more about Covered in Pet Hair, visit Pet Life Radio or coveredinpethair.com. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.